listening to 3 Quirks and a Turk at 89.3 FM.
This is my station.
Action.
It's just insane and I love it.
Entertainment.
Hey guys, it's Selena Gomez.
Hey, this is Ed Sheeran.
Hey guys, it's Taylor Swift.
Entrepreneurs.
You need to learn this business, and this is the time to do it.
And empowerment.
Become an insider. So you have to know the rules before you get in the game.
It's Friday.
I can't believe that it's Freaky Friday.
YB Moody, shake that booty and tune in to the voice of the continent.
Hello, hello.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing, Davey?
Oh my god, I'm still recovering.
From what?
It's just like since I came back, we've been doing a lot of night shoot. It's been like 3 a.m., 4 a.m.
Oh, that explains your eye bags.
Yeah, my eye bags.
Yeah.
And then this morning I came home at 3:30, got to wake up at 5 to go to Shell Harbour, come back here for a meeting, and I'm here.
Oh, right. So you came from Shell Harbour?
Yeah.
Well, I came all the way
Harbour.
from Supernova, Olympic
No
Park.
wonder we both look bloody haggard.
Hey, look, I've been hanging out with Student Troopers.
Nice.
Yes,
You like it?
Yeah, I was with Demon Hunters, people dressed up
I love it.
in their costume. It was fantastic to be out there. I'm going to be out there tomorrow, so anybody wants to come out and see me.
So are you actually going to dress up out there? What are you going to do?
My outfit didn't come in on time.
Are you serious?
Yeah. It's my fault. I did everything last minute.
What a
so
shame. What a
anyway,
shame.
I'm going to have to save it for Smash Comic-Con that will come up eventually.
All right, that's good. Looking forward to that. So what are we going to wear anyway? What are you going to
No,
wear?
I can't tell you that.
Oh, come on.
It was a
You might
big
as well
secret.
share it. You brought it up. You might as well share it.
No. I want
my
no.
God.
You have to wait.
The world has stopped, Valentina. You know this?
Stop
It's
for
soccer
what?
crazy.
Oh, World Cup.
Everyone is
Soccer
going
World
crazy about the
Cup.
soccer,
Yes.
and it's going madness. But you know what? Fingers crossed that us
Australia?
Aussies will make it through.
Oh, we'll make it through.
We've got so many talented
We
people
have.
out there. I mean, they should
We're
approach
cheering you
us.
guys on.
They
What?
should approach us, mate. We're champions, but they're lost, I reckon.
I'd rather be a cheerleader. I'm sorry.
You serious?
Yeah,
Oh, my
I'm standing on the
God.
sidelines. It's best if I did.
Seriously. So to our listeners out there, this week is going to be a fabulous week because every week we like to bring special guests into the studio to share about their passion, their dreams, their journey, and their entrepreneurship. And that's what we do here, right? We want to
That's
provide
right.
that platform. But also we want to get into the raw information. That's why we bring our leaders in here to share the ups and downs of running a business, the pros and cons, so that our listeners can take something away from this conversation.
100%, and a lot of our listeners are startups, are established businesses.
Correct.
They run their own business. They want to know the ups and downs.
Yes.
And especially if you're a startup, please make sure you tune in through this whole entire interview.
Yes, it's fascinating, right? But when you mention when I hear the word riding the unicorn, I get this picture of a cowboy, an Indian riding on a horse.
Do
you? But unicorn, interesting.
Yes, I know. But we have that very special author who's
Yes.
published the Riding the Unicorn book. He's right here in the studio. Welcome, Thomas Derricott.
Thank you, Valentina. Thank you, Davey. It is a pleasure to be here.
Yes. Tell us a bit. Are you a soccer fan at all?
I came to soccer later in life. I think as a child, I was a martial arts nerd. So if it didn't appear in the Ninja Turtles or the Karate Kid, I just didn't get it a second look. But now I've reached my late 30s when anyone would have probably put soccer behind them, and I'm suddenly getting really obsessed with it.
I love the Ninja Turtles.
Oh, who doesn't?
Oh, I love the Ninja
Maybe
Turtles.
that's Valentina's secret costume to Smash.
I reckon that's why she's not telling us.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's why I reckon she might be the Splinter. Was it a rat?
Oh, it's Splinter the Rat. Oh,
The rat.
please.
Put some respect on Splinter's name.
who's the
Splinter is a
It
legend.
was Master
Who's the
Splinter,
master
by the
Splinter?
way.
He wasn't just any play normal rat. He was a very smart rat. So tell us a bit about this your journey riding the unicorn.
Oof. Well, in a nutshell, I've been many different kinds of an entrepreneur. I've been a successful one. I've been a failure of one.
Yeah.
And my wife and I have both worked in the startup and the small business space for a long time.
Yeah.
And with the passage of time, we realized two things. Firstly, we realized that most of the business and most of the startup books that we encountered were written by Americans or English people.
I'm so glad you touched base on that. That's so true.
And
that is so true.
there's a lot of really relevant lessons to be learned from those books, but they're not written with our entrepreneurs in mind, with our culture, with our spirit, with the practical challenges that entrepreneurs face in Australia. And then we also realized that we happen to know a lot of really successful startups. startup founders. And so we thought if we could interview all of them and turn their insights into a step-by-step guide, we might be able to create something that's actually useful for the Australian entrepreneur.
Here's a question for you. Startup and entrepreneur, what's the difference?
So, entrepreneur is like a big, all-encompassing term. I like to think of it as someone who will just be their own boss. Or I saw this great meme that I think summarizes it very well, which is an entrepreneur is someone who will work an 80-hour week to avoid working a 40-hour week. So they can't stand the idea of slaving away for someone else.
Yes.
They'd rather slave away for themselves.
Okay.
But, Davey, you ask a brilliant question. Because when we think about small businesses and startups, it's easy to think, well, a startup is like the next Canva or the next OpenAI, whereas a small business is that laundromat owned by mum and pop down the street. But some of the biggest companies in the world started as small businesses.
Correct.
So this is something we actually explore in depth in Writing the Unicorn, where we ask the reader the question, do you really want to launch a startup, or has Hollywood just conditioned you to think that that's where the money is?
Yeah.
You've watched The Social Network, you've watched Silicon Valley, and you think, oh, that's me. Because if you have a mortgage, if you have kids, running a small business might make a lot more sense. Because if you make 10% profit at the end of your first year, you get to keep that money. But if you've launched a startup and you make 10% profit and you go to your investors and you say, hey, here's a dividend, they're going to say, what are you doing giving me money? You should be investing this back into the business. I don't want to see a cent from you for 10 years. 10 years from now, you're either going to be out of business or you'll be worth $1 billion. There is nothing in between. So startups can be really exciting, but small businesses can often enable a better quality of life. And depending on what you're looking for, one might be more preferable for you than the other.
Valid question and valid answer.
So can you share who you actually interviewed?
So we interviewed a range of people from both Australia and New Zealand because we wanted the book to be relevant for the Antipodes. But some of the biggest names we interviewed was Tim Fong, who is the CEO and co-founder of Airtasker.
Okay.
Jenna Leo, who's the CEO and co-founder of Like Family, which is this startup that you may not have heard of if you're not in the healthcare space, but they connect carers with elderly people, people with disabilities, not so much nurses and the like, but social carers. So they do really important work and they've grown really quickly. We interviewed Alexis Soulopoulos, who was the co-founder and CEO of Mad Paws. That's it's kind of like Airbnb, but for pet sitting. It's a really successful story. They floated on the Australian Stock Exchange. They have since been purchased by this big US company, and he's gone on to launch Ever AI, which is a wildly successful AI company that I believe allows you to get a AI-powered girlfriend or boyfriend.
Oh my
but
gosh.
You look at the spreadsheets and it's doing really well, so he's clearly onto a money-making machine.
Wow.
And then countless others, but our aim was to try and find an enormous cross-section of different founders from different industries so that we could find the common traits that applied to all of them.
Okay, and what was the common traits?
We've got about 18 chapters worth of common traits, so I won't go through all of them. The most important, I think, is the idea of becoming a problem solver in chief. It's a term that we coined, but every single founder we spoke to recognized that when you become a business founder, small business, startup, doesn't matter, you will always face more problems than you have hours in the day.
Correct.
So you can never solve every single problem you have. What you need to be able to do is to triage them. So we created this thing called the pyramid of priorities, which summarizes what they all do in their own way, which is the top of the pyramid, which problems could ruin our business today? The middle level, which ones could ruin us in the next 6 months? And the bottom level, which ones might ruin us eventually? And the problem is that a lot of failed entrepreneurs, they didn't fail because they don't have a work ethic. They failed because they focused on the wrong problem. That they, for example, maybe they were lawyers. They wanted to focus on all of these HR contracts, but they only had 3 employees and they had no revenue today. So they really should have been focusing on generating revenue. And that's a trait that we found throughout, an ability to be able to objectively assess problems and then sort them into a series of priority buckets.
But when it comes down to running your own business, we all know that you're a jack of all trade. You're a sales manager, you're a HR, you're a CEO. Now, is that something that we need to educate a lot of business owners that they should let go and appoint or get a freelancer into the company to help them with that? Because that will tie you down trying to do 5, 10, 6 things a day.
Davey, it's like I just gave you a copy.
Quirks and a Turk, 89.3 FM. We're here to teach you how to ride a bloody unicorn. Or Thomas is going to teach us how to ride a unicorn through business metaphor. You touched base on a few good points there when it comes down to being an entrepreneur and a startup. And one of the biggest things that we noticed that a startup business, they wanted to be a masters of everything. Now, and you touched base on that. It's just impossible, right? If you want to grow your business, you need to allocate the right people, the right team to build your business. Is that correct, Thomas?
Absolutely. I think there have been a few well-documented examples of startup founders who were absolute geniuses in one particular area.
Yeah.
That Mark Zuckerberg at the time was a coding legend, and Steve Jobs just had this uninterruptible vision for design. But the truth is, when you start running a business, you need to be a Jack or Jill of all trades.
So true.
And sometimes trying to operate as a specialist is going to be to your detriment, because it means by default that you're going to neglect many other problems in the business.
Okay.
But that's okay, because that's a skill that people can learn as well.
So you actually co-host this book, Riding the Unicorn, with your partner. Is that correct?
That's right, with my wife.
With your wife.
What's your wife's name? Sorry.
Her name is Wenny.
Wendy. Hi, Wendy.
Wendy Yep.
Wendy, yep. Well, I
Wendy,
hope you're
yep.
listening. And if you are, you should be here in the studio too.
That's right. That's
You
right.
know, I believe she's walking the dog right now.
Is she?
So one of us needed to fall on that sword,
Oh, so
and it was her.
Not a cat, a dog.
That's right. We got our cat fix when we opened Catmosphere, the cat cafe, a little more than 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So we thought, karmically, we owe a little bit of time to dogs now.
Good, good.
Okay.
It's interesting, Valentinos, in one of those chapters there is a side hustle, the food coma, which I love food, of business jargon. Now, give us that metaphor. Where did the metaphor come from, and what does it stand for with that metaphor?
Well, firstly, I'd like to look at the idea of a side hustle and separate to the idea of a startup and a small business.
Okay.
Because a lot of people will see a side hustle as just a route to going full-time with either a small business or a startup. But the way I see it is they each suit different goals. And because we interviewed a founder of a pet sitting startup, I always like to use a pet sitting analogy. So let's say you love pets, and let's say that you want to find a reason to spend more time with pets and make money for it. In that scenario, being a pet sitter is perfect. Now, you're probably not going to become a millionaire just from your pet sitting work, but you will spend most of your working time with animals.
Correct.
You don't need to worry about marketing or administration or HR or any of those other business headaches. Let's say you want to create a livelihood around pets. Maybe in that situation, you open a pet grooming salon. You recognize that being a pet sitter is not going to take you where you need to go.
Yes.
Now, when you open a pet grooming salon, you're not going to spend every hour of the day with pets. You're going to be doing the books, you're going to be hiring staff, maybe you'll even be firing staff if they do something they shouldn't. You're going to be marketing. There'll be a lot of headaches you need to contend with, but you can rest assured that your love of pets is still going to be at the epicenter of your day.
Okay.
But then let's say you want to solve a problem that pet lovers like you face. That's when launching a startup could be a great idea. So, for example, I'm just plucking an idea out of thin air here, but an AI-powered startup that decodes your dog's facial expression to tell you your dog's mood, so you know
Great
whether
idea.
to... Thank you. Now all we've got to do is create it. But maybe...
Well, apparently in China they have.
Oh, have they?
this exact app, really?
Yes, I actually read an article the other day, and they said in China they designed an app for pets, for dog. So when your dog barks, you know what the dog is saying. And this is in China already.
That is amazing.
Funny you brought that up because I actually read that like a week ago.
Look, China is so far ahead of us in so many metrics,
Yes.
so it doesn't surprise me that they are leaps and bounds ahead with pet translation.
Yeah.
But in that scenario, for the people who launched this Chinese app, I would be willing to bet that they spend almost none of their day with dogs.
No.
Yeah, right.
They're going to be raising investment. They're going to be in marketing meetings. The fact that they've created this app that translates dog barks,
Yeah.
the fact that it works with dogs is almost incidental to their personal lives. But they can rest assured that they are solving a problem that matters to dog lovers, as presumably
Sure.
they are.
But then there's a but to this. There's a big but to this. How do we know that the apps is giving us the right language, what the dog is thinking or saying? Because we don't speak dog language.
Yeah, and the startup landscape is littered with failed stories of this, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think the most infamous is probably Theranos, that US startup that claimed to be able to identify any health issue with a single drop of blood.
Oh, yeah.
And it began with them saying, oh, we just don't have the technology as of yet, but we're confident we will have it, so we'll just run the results in a lab. And the lie kept getting bigger and bigger. And now the founder is still in jail, I believe. So, extreme example, right? But if we learnt 10 years from now
Yes.
that this app had been incorrectly translating dog barks, it'd be a big scandal, right?
That's correct.
But at the same time, I think a lot of startups depend on the fact that the market will correct them, which is why one of the most common traits we found as well with the people we interviewed was an obsession with learning from their target market.
Yeah.
So that you don't find yourself in a situation where you've launched an IPO, you've raised billions of dollars, and suddenly people realize, hang on, that's not what my dog is saying at all. This app has lied to me.
Well, startups rely on customers' feedback.
Yes.
Customers' response.
Correct.
Customers' review,
To
right?
get more funding, supports.
Well, in order to get more new customers, so I rely on people's reviews. So this app has to work.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
they
But
can't
then
lie.
those reviews, you can actually pay people.
You can, but then at the same time, you will get people commenting saying, "This is a bad app. This is
Yeah.
not truthful, and all these are scammers." You know, people will respond this.
know,
Valentina, you do see that a lot where
do.
you'll have a series of glowing 5-star reviews, but then you'll
100%.
have as many 1-star reviews saying,
Yes.
don't listen to those 5-star
That's right.
reviews, they're all
That's
fake.
right.
Yeah.
And if you just see 5s and 1s, then you
Yes.
might start thinking something is amiss
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
So what's the holy grail of hustle then? What is the holy grail of hustle? Because like everyone's hustling out there for business, the entrepreneurs, and you interviewed 20 leaders in the industry.
Did they hustle?
Yeah. Oh, I guess that would be. To
No,
be there.
no, not always a possibility. But I want to hear this. Yeah.
No, that is a completely valid point. They did all hustle, and what I would say is because of Australia's unique landscape, they actually hustled a lot harder than a lot of other people would have in other parts of the world. Or maybe they hustled more intelligently. So I'll give you
That's
an
a better statement. Thank you.
I'll give you an example, right? So there was this New Zealand startup we interviewed. The founder, Nick Whitehouse, created a startup called McCarthy Finch. This startup back in 2017 was running generative AI before it was cool, before OpenAI and Claude and everything else. So they'd built this model for law firms, and it worked. It could summon up all of these legal issues using AI. They then went to Silicon Valley to raise funds, and they found it almost impossible to get a conversation with investors, right? Because everyone's there plugging an idea. When they finally got their first conversation, what they heard was, okay, so what's your idea? And Nick said, I'm sorry, what do you mean? Said, well, you have an idea that you want to build into a prototype? What is it? And Nick said, no, we actually have a functioning prototype with customers. And they said, hang on. So you're telling me that you're here with a functioning product and you have revenue and you're asking for money? And Nick said, of course. Why else would I be here? Because in the US, these entrepreneurs can often raise tens of millions of dollars with an idea. But our corner of the world, funding is so much more scarce, which can be a problem, but it also means that we expect so much more of our startups.
Yes.
So the ones that do make it through to that point where they've created the product, they are likely to go so much further.
Yeah, so they pass this. So you have to admit that in Australia, our due diligence process are actually more stricter than overseas.
Yes.
The overseas, you come up with an idea and they pump money into it, and then whether it works or not, you don't know. And investors will lose the money.
Exactly.
Whereas in Australia, you know, we're kind of smart in the sense that, well, you have an idea, Valentino, but give us more concept, more proof that your business is going to work before we invest in you.
That's right. Look,
Yeah.
I'm a millennial man, so I'm naturally going to compare it to the film 300 with the young Spartan men.
Oh, the
How
Spartan.
the Spartan society would send their young men and the young women out into the wilderness, and many of them would die. But
Wow.
those who returned would be the strongest, most fearsome warriors in all of Greece.
True.
And that's what we do with our entrepreneurs in this country.
That's true. That's true.
But the thing is, I have to say this. In the past year, and now because of the new government changes, right? We're going to be losing a lot of
Good people.
really good gifted startups.
Oh, no, because the
Or-
government just announced an amendment to the CGT.
Up to
Great.
5 million
Yes.
or something,
Oh, I
wasn't
didn't
it?
hear about
Yeah,
it.
it was just yesterday.
Oh, okay.
So startups are now being exempt. I believe they're still finalising all of the
That's
details, so there's still a
fantastic.
lot of back and forth. But at a broad strokes level, it's being celebrated as a win for startup founders.
Woohoo!
And as you say, Davey, for businesses that earn under a certain threshold.
Yes. that's
So
right.
we'll hopefully avoid that dystopian future that we were
Yes,
staring at.
Correct,
yes.
So for listeners, for context, if you missed this, the federal budget obviously evoked a lot of emotions in a lot of different people, but within
Yes,
the
they did.
startup community, a lot of people were really upset because they thought that this new CGT rules would affect their equity. A lot of people will start a company because they think, I'll be able to sell my shares one day and make a lot.
I think it's about time that the government listens to business owners and business people, because we are, over the years, we have lost to so many Aussie Einstein to oversee. And if we don't stop and support entrepreneurs and business people, then Australia's going to be a freaking dumb country. Because
Absolutely
all the smart
right.
people go, all the smart money will go. And therefore the government would have to support more people. So I think in a way the government hopefully woke up to themselves and realised we need to support business people.
Yes, I think they just used a very broad brush to paint the entire subject of CGT, and they're now considering that they made a bit of a misstep.
All right, we're going to have a break. You are tuning in with the Three Quirks and Turk, 89.3 FM. We have a conversation here with Thomas, the co-author of Riding the Unicorn. Take a break. We'll be right back after this. This is Friday. The weather's not too shabby. Valentino and I guess also Thomas, we had a crazy week, but we're here. We're still going on. We're still soldiering on. We're still sharing our passion, our love for entrepreneurs and startup. So Thomas from Startup, can I say thank you so much? And you mentioned earlier before that you actually arrived here on a unicorn. Is that true? Or
I
someone else
arrive
just told
everywhere
you?
on a unicorn these days. No, do you want to know something quirky?
Yeah.
Oh, I know that's a theme of your radio station,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
after we named our book, we were approached by some people and they said, do you know what a unicorn is outside of a startup context? We
Yeah.
said, oh, like mythical horse
Correct.
with a horn? And they said, no. A unicorn is like a third person who can enter a relationship that can bring a spice to a couple, but also leave without creating any drama.
What kind of kinky shit are you into?
I know. Well, I felt like such a prude that we didn't know this. So afterwards, my wife and I, we tried to retroactively rewrite history to say this book is the unicorn in our relationship.
Okay.
I'm glad you clarified
We
that.
clarified that. Okay, good.
Thank you.
What's your unicorn, Davey? Davey's lost it. Okay. All right, let's start our 5 quirky question time.
Okay.
All right. Now, if you had a unicorn, what would you name it?
Gerald.
Gerald the unicorn.
Okay.
Memorable, no?
Very, very true. All right. You've interviewed 20 of Australia's top founders. Did any of them say something off the record that you wish you could put in the book?
None of them said anything that they weren't comfortable with us putting in the book, but there were all of these song lyrics and references
Song lyrics,
that we
right.
wanted to put in the book. Like, I'd included all of these lines from rapper Lil Uzi Vert about the importance of networking,
Yeah.
and then our publisher said, no, I'm sorry, that's copyright infringement. We need to
yes.
remove it. So I'm hoping that one day I can meet Lil Uzi Vert and give him
Can you
the
give us-
uncut version.
Can you give us an uncut version of what you would have actually sung or put in your book for us online?
Okay, so I don't remember the exact lyric, but it was something like, my homies, they be always riding. Side note, you'll never reach my goals. And then I went on to draw this really tenuous connection about how Lil Uzi Vert was trying to stress the importance of networking.
Okay, I love that. Jared the unicorn.
Gerald approves.
Yes.
God. All right. If your career so far had a chapter title, what would it be?
This current chapter of my career?
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's going to be okay.
Oh my God, it's going to be okay. I think that title should be for everybody.
Yeah, I think so.
Right.
Because everybody
everyone's
is in that
stressed too much
anxiety
these
moment.
days,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. All right. Cats or unicorns?
Can I opt for like a hybrid of the two? Like a
hybrid.
cat with a mythical horn?
Oh my goodness.
But you can't write that because that cat would be too bloody small to write then, wouldn't it?
That's true, but I mean, if it were horse size, that'd be terrifying. That'd be like trying to ride a panther. I just admire it from a distance.
I'm going to have a nightmare too. I think my whole unicorns.
Oh my God. Okay. What's the most startup thing that's ever happened to you? The kind of moment that could only happen if you work in this world?
Probably when I was invited to the IPO listing for Mad Paws, that pet sitting platform.
Okay. Yes.
They needed to negotiate ahead of time with the ASX to allow dogs to attend the ASX.
Oh, really?
Because it's a pet sitting platform, so
Yeah.
they wanted people to bring their dogs, but it was something the ASX had never considered before. So I got a photo of myself and my dog Schnoozy ringing the bell at the ASX.
That is hilarious. Oh,
Love
what
that.
a moment.
Love that. One quirky one. What's your favorite color?
Magenta.
What the hell is magenta?
Oh my God.
What's magenta?
Where have you been?
Yeah.
What is that?
Magenta is all the rage.
That's my favourite colour
Is it?
too.
Hey, magenta buddies!
Can you two crazy unicorn term? What is magenta? What color is that?
I mean, I'd compare it to red, but like that's not doing magenta justice.
It's like a crimson.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is like a crimson,
what do you
but like a bit more regal.
Wait. Are you going to ask what's crimson?
Why don't you just call it
What's
crimson?
red? No, magenta has so much more riz than crimson.
Exactly.
And your favorite music?
I'm going to say my favorite pump-up song is probably 9 to 5 by Dolly Parton.
Oh, 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Really?
Can we play that?
Please do. We gave a TEDx talk last month, and that was literally the song I played before I went on stage to get myself
Are
in the
you
mood.
kidding me? I
Kid
can't,
you not.
I can't.
We'll play it.
I
We're
can't
going to find it.
imagine visualizing you running out on a stage with a unicorn and listening to Dolly Parton. 9 to 5.
9 to 5 is my jam.
5.
Dolly Parton is a global treasure. Her existence is like a public service.
Oh, wow. No, that's... I've got
I could not even imagine you being a Dolly Parton fan.
Neither can I.
You don't look like it at the time.
No.
Yeah. Look, I mean, I get in my Linkin Park, I get in my Tool, some certain kinds of hip hop, but I've always got time for Dolly at the end of the day.
Fair enough.
Yeah, we love Dolly too.
So what's your social handles? Right
Yes.
before we set
Where
it
can we
off?
buy you food
Okay.
as well?
So, TikTok, it's just Riding the Unicorn.
Yeah.
Instagram, somebody took that from us, so it's Riding the Unicorn HQ, as in
Okay.
headquarters.
Okay.
And our book is available at most Dimmix outlets, but also on Amazon. It's just Riding the Unicorn.
Riding
the
the
startup
Unicorn.
guide you'll want to read.